Okay, so good morning to all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So see, today we will going on to discuss regarding the previous topic and by using our simulation software so that it will be somewhat again clear to you. Last time we discussed about the transfer characteristic of that N-channel E MOSFET. Is it? uh, we considered or we drawn one table by considering the various values of VGS and I written the different values of ID also, is it? And by using that table, we plotted the characteristic which was in between input voltage and output current. That's why we are calling it as a transfer characteristic, right? Again, one more point, conclusion we done during the previous lecture only. Whatever that transfer characteristic was plotted, that was non-linear in nature. Am I right? Are you agree with this? Whenever we are changing the voltage, input voltage with the constant step size, but the thing we observed, the variation in ID, that was uh, not linear, and that's why the characteristic we plotted, that was the non-linear characteristic, right? So we'll see now one experiment based on that previous discussion, and that is by using our simulation software. Okay, so I will just run my Proteus. Is it visible, my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. So again, if you have notebook pen, whenever I will suggest you just note down that few points. The transistor use during our regular practical also, that you have to note down, and that is 2n. Just type in that keyword 2n7000. Okay, just note down at your end 2n7000. You will observe it is of N channel enhancement mode vertical MOSFET. It is written right now. So just double click on that, the transistor will get selected, on which we have to perform that basic practical. It is not the part of our practical, but whatever things we discussed last time, the same we have to check. Is it correct or not? Okay. Then we will require one register also. So just type in this keyword as a register point 0.6 metal film. I will prefer select anyone so that I can edit it. I will select that register of 1 kilo ohm. Okay. Then I will require one battery also. I will just type that battery in this keyword, and we will observe various voltage sources as batteries will be available. So just select cell battery, single cell. Okay. And now try to implement the component as per our previous circuit diagram. Okay, so I will just put this N channel E MOSFET by considering that gate terminal as a input, drain terminal to the DC source, and source terminal as a common or grounded, right now. By taking the actual construction, whatever the things we discuss, instead of that construction, now I will be going to prefer here the symbol of the same transistor, that is N channel E MOSFET. Okay. Now, to limit the current to that drain terminal, I will just use one resistor, series resistor, and to measure the drain current, again I will use one ammeter, current meter, DC current meter. Okay. Only the care you have to take about its polarity. As the current will be going to flow like this, that means the positive terminal of that current meter, it should be towards the resistor, and just connect these two terminals. By default, that current meter, it will be in ampere range, but we know whatever current will going on to flow through this transistor, it will be of milliamp, and so that I will be able to change its properties. Instead of amperes, I will select milliamp and we'll say just OK. Now that current meter will get converted into DC current meter. Okay. Now the battery DC source, I will be able to connect it like this to the resistor, and this source terminal, it will be common. Okay. Now same DC source, I will be able to prefer at the input side also, that is to apply the VGS. It's positive to the gate and negative to the source terminal like this. Is it okay? Is it okay? Whatever the consideration last time we discussed the same thing I have implemented. Okay. Now we'll just use the ground pin also to this circuit diagram so that it will going to work properly, right? So see, last time also one more point I highlighted, and that was keep the output voltage source as a constant, right? That means I will be able to keep it. For example, suppose it is of 10 volts. This DC source is of now 10 volt. Am I right? Battery 1. This is acting as what? VDD as per our previous logic. And this one, battery 2, it will be able to work as a VGG to provide the VGS. Okay. Initially, I will be able to keep this battery at 0 volts. If you have that previous table, just open it. It might be available in your mobile, because I suggested to take the snapshot, okay, or screenshot, right? So, okay, it is not taking as a 0, just make that. I will just apply a stop 0 as a 0.1, which is as good as 0 volts, right? And we'll be able to run this circuit. How much is the current? Can you observe my screen? Is it visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So how much is the current flowing in this path? That current
Zero.
is 0 milliampere, right now. Why it is 0 milliampere? See, I applied here almost 0 volt at the gate terminal with respect to the source of this transistor. That means VGS is equals to 0, that is input voltage, which is acting as a controlling voltage, and whatever the current, this current meter is showing, that is nothing but ID, drain current, right now, because it is connected in series with drain with respective to positive terminal of this DC source. Am I right? And this DC source, it is at non-zero potential. This is at 10 volts. So expected is what? As it is at 10 volt, there should be a non-zero current in this loop, output loop, right? But that current is only 0 milliampere. Why it is 0 milliampere? Because whatever VGS is applied, it is somewhat less than the threshold voltage of this transistor, is it? And that's why this input voltage, we are calling it as a controlling voltage, as its amplitude will be able to control the amount of flow of output current. And that is drain current. Currently it is of 0 milliamperes only, right? Now again, just note down for this transistor, that is 2N7000, as per the data sheet, its threshold voltage, it is mentioned as 0.8 volt minimum and 3 volt maximum. If you have notebook and pen, just note down it. For this transistor 2N7000, its threshold voltage as per the data sheet. Just a minute, I will show you that data sheet also, so that you can read it. Okay. So see, this is the data sheet of the same transistor, right? So when you will check it in its electrical characteristic, see, here it is mentioned gate threshold voltage. Is it visible to all? On characteristic, this first row, gate threshold voltage, which is TH, or it is also, it can be shown as a VT. Minimum, its value is given as a 0.8, and maximum, it is given as 3. And the unit is in volts, DC voltage. Am I right? Are you getting it? For this transistor 2N7000, its threshold voltage as per the data sheet, it is given as minimum 0.8 and maximum it will be of 3 volts, is it? So the same thing we will be able to check, as well as whatever the things we discussed last time, that also we will be able to verify. Okay. So at this stage, I applied this input voltage, that is VGS, as just as a 0.1 volt, but as per the data sheet, it is less than 0.8, and that's why that this transistor, it will not going on to turn on even if non-zero output DC voltage is applied, which is of 10 volt, right? So what I will do, you just prepare one table. Again, VGS, first column that will be for VGS, and second column that will be for ID, drain current, in milliampere, which is VGS, it is in volt, and drain current, it is in milliamperes. Okay, and just above it, note down VDS or VDD equals to 10 volt, and that is equals to constant. This VDS, voltage applied to the drain with respect to source, that is nothing but this VDD. Or if you have to note down it by using again a separate voltmeter across drain to source, that also you can do. Just connect this DC voltmeter at the drain terminal with respect to source of this transistor. Okay, so whatever voltage it will measure, that will be VDS, and whatever DC source is applied to the drain, it is known as a VDD. So this battery 1, it is acting as VDD, and this voltmeter, whatever it will measure, that will be equals to VDS, right? So see, as the transistor is in off state, it is acting as an open switch. So how much is the VDS? VDS is equals to applied voltage. As that transistor, it is connected in parallel, we can say, with respect to this battery or VDD, the measured drain voltage by this voltmeter with respect to source, as it is acting as an open switch, the measured voltage across that transistor, that will be equals to VDD. Are you agree with this? Yes or no? Or are you getting confused? Just let me know what is happening exactly at your end. Nobody is responding. See, the transistor is in off state. Why it is in off state? Because the applied input voltage, it is less than the threshold voltage of this transistor, which is given in its data sheet. It is given as 0.8 minimum, right? We applied only 0.1. That means that this transistor is in off state. It is acting as an open switch. As it is acting as an open switch, the voltage measured across open switch is how much? That is equals to applied voltage. And how much is the applied voltage across drain to source? That is VDD, which is of 10 volt. Are you getting now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what we will do, we will again increase this input voltage from 0.1 to 0.2 volt. Okay? Your second reading, that is of 0.2. See here, it is of 0.2. Right? And again we'll run and we'll check how much is the value of ID. How much it is? Again it is 0 milliampere. That means our transistor do not get turn on, and that's why the voltage across it is also again equals to applied voltage, and that is of VDD, that is 10 volts, is it? Again, change the value of this input voltage source from 0.2 to 0.3. What will happen? Again, expected is what? The transistor, it should remain off. Yes, it is in off state. Are you getting it? So see, instead of 0.3, if I jump directly to 0.6, if at 0.6 it remains 0, that means below 0.6 it will go on to remain 0. That is the consideration. See again, that ID, it remains as 0 milliampere, and that's why voltage across transistor, that is nothing but voltage across open switch, is equals to applied voltage, and that is of 10 volts. Okay. Now we will try to find out the exact threshold voltage of this transistor. Instead of 0.6, now if I apply it to 0.7, and again we'll check how much is the current. Still it remains 0. And it is again as per the data sheet. So 0.72, now I will apply 0.8 because minimum value is given as a 0.8 and maximum, the data sheet data sheet, it is that manufacturer suggests the actual value it will lie between 0.8 to 3 volts. Okay, so we'll check it. See, at 0.8, even if it is given as a minimum, but still that transistor is in off state, and that's why current flowing through that transistor it remains as 0 milliampere. Okay, now 0.8 to 0.9, we'll check it getting turned on or not. Yes, can you observe? Is it visible to all?
Yes, sir.
So see what is happening. This input voltage up to 0.8, what was happening? The output current it remains 0 milliampere. That means the transistor do not get turned on. But at 0.9, whenever that input voltage VGS is equals to 0.9 volt, what happens? This transistor gets slightly turned on, and that's why the current flowing through this transistor it is very small. That is 0.05 milliampere. So just note down 0 to 0.8, first column that is for VGS, 0 to 0.8, second column that is for ID. ID remains 0. Am I right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So respond fastly. Huh? So see, first column that is for VGS, second column that is for ID, whatever the things we discussed during our previous lecture that we are observing by uh, practically. Okay. So 0 to 0.8, your second column, that reading should be of 000, right now. And whenever it goes to 0.9, non-zero ID is there, and that is of 0.05 milliamperes. That means it is of 50 microampere only, right? Very small amount of current. Now the question is why such type of very small amount of current is flowing? Because a very thin channel gets formed between drain and source, between these two terminals, and that's why there is a flow of this non-zero ID or IS. Am I right? And this 0.9 volt, what you will call this voltage for this transistor? What is this 0.9? Can anybody?
Threshold
Yes,
voltage.
very nice, 100% correct. So this 0.9, this is the practically determined threshold voltage of this transistor 2N7000. As per the data sheet, it was given it will be in between 0.8 to 3 volts. Practically, we decided the threshold voltage of this transistor is 0.9 volt. Are you agree with this? So at 0.9, note down in that second column, the current is 0.05 milliampere, and just in bracket of that 0.9 first column, note down this is the threshold voltage, right? Now see this transistor, it gets turned on, it is conducting with very small amount of current. Why? Because the channel formed between drain and source due to the input voltage of 0.9 volt positive to the gate terminal, this the conduction of this transistor it is very small. That means we can say this transistor is offering very high resistance between drain to source. Up to 0.8, how much the resistance this transistor was offering? Can anybody answer? Between drain to source, how much was the resistance offered by this transistor between 0 to 0.8 of input voltage? Can anybody answer?
Infinity.
Yes, it was infinite, and that's why the current flowing that was 0. That transistor is acting as an open circuit between drain to source, right? That's why current flowing between drain to source, which is measured by using this current meter, that was 0. Now at 0.9, the resistance is not infinite, it is finite, and that's why there is somewhat current. But as the current is very small, what we can say, the transistor is not offering infinite resistance between drain to source, and that resistance is very high, and that's why the current is very small. Is it? Because the current is inversely proportional to resistance. And hence the voltage measured across the transistor that do not remain equals to the applied voltage. Applied voltage is of 10 volt, and currently you will observe the voltage measured when transistor gets just turned on, slightly turn on, that voltage is 9.95 volts. You just prepare the third column also. Okay. That third column, that will be for VDS. So between 0 to 0.8 of input voltage, first column, 0 to 0.8, second column remains throughout 0, and what you will write in third column between 0 to 0.8, that will be of 10 volt, that is input voltage. And the same thing we already observed, right? That VDS, it remains as 10 volt between 0 to 0.8 volts, right? At 0.9, that is the threshold voltage of this transistor gets turned on, and that's why the current flowing, it is very, very small, that is 0.05 milliampere. This is the reading for your second column, and third column, that reading will be 9.95. Clear? Now, we will increase this input voltage from 0.9 to 1 volt. We are going on to increase, or the step size, we will going to keep constant of 0.1 volt only. And again, we'll check, see what is happening. Now, how much is the current? It is of 0.67 milliampere, which is sufficiently large as compared to previous case. Previous case means whenever that input voltage was just 0.9 volt, we are getting that drain current or ID only 0.05 milli, right? And the voltage was 9.95. Voltage drop across transistor, that is VDS, it was 9.95. Now, whenever you will apply or whenever you will increase that input voltage with the same step size, that is from 0.9 to 1 volts, the current increases sufficiently large, 0.67 milliampere. Okay, and voltage drop also gets reduced to 9.33. Is it clear? Again, increase that input voltage from 1 to 1.1 volts. Here I will apply that input voltage from 1 to 1.1. You can observe it. Currently it is 1.1, and again we'll run and we'll check what is happening with the current. So see what is happening with current from previous value, that is 0.67. Now it increases to 2.06, right? And voltage drop also gets reduced with sufficient value. In previous case it was 9 point something, and now it goes directly to 7.94 volts. That means this transistor between drain to source is offering somewhat low resistance as compared to previous case. And as the resistance offered by this transistor between drain to source, or by that channel between drain to source, the resistance offered is somewhat less, and that's why current gets increased. It goes to 2.06 milliamperes. Okay. Again, we'll take the next values of that input voltage from 1.1. I will going to increase it to 1.2 volts, and again we'll going to check. Now see, that current is 4.14 and the voltage is 5.86. Are you noted all these values? Are you doing it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Anyone, just note that values, because we have to plot the graph also. Okay. So at 1.2, the current goes to 4.14 milliamperes, and the voltage drop across transistor, it comes down to 5.86 volts only. Okay. Again, increase this voltage from 1.2 to 1.3. Just say okay, and again run it. Now current increases directly to 6.86 milliamperes, right? That current is increasing towards 6.86, and the voltage drop across transistor, that is VDS, it goes down to 3.14 volts. Noted? So you prepare 3 columns. One is for input voltage, second column is for output current, and third column is for output voltage, that is VDS. Okay. Again increase this input voltage from 1.3 to 1.4, and again note down what is happening with the output. Now see, that current increases to 9.66 milli, and the voltage drop across that transistor, it comes down to 0.3 volt only, right? Note down all these three values: 1.4 first column, second column 9.66 milliampere, and third column, that is for VDS, which is of 0.34 volts. Now from 1.4 to 1.5. The current is 9.78 milli. Now it will somewhat going on to retain constant because of this 1 kilo ohm resistor connected in series with 10 volt, so that this resistor will going on to limit that current as a 10 milliamperes. It will not going on to allow. Voltage drop across transistor, it comes down to 0.2 volts. Okay. Is it okay now? Now the readings are with you. Just look towards that, all that reading, 0 to 1.5, what is happening? Will it be exponential in nature if you try to plot it by using graph paper? Yes or no? Nobody? Are you noted all these readings? First of all, just tell me.
Yes, sir.
So just check that readings. The first column, we are increasing VGS linearly, that is by 0.1 volt only. That step size is constant. What is happening with the second column? Whatever current is increasing, it is with the constant step size.
No, sir.
That current is exponential in nature. Right now, forget about that third column at this stage. That is output voltage. Don't worry about it. But what is the conclusion? Once that transistor gets fired, once it gets turned on, that is at threshold value. At threshold, the current flowing through the transistor, it is very, very small. First conclusion, right? Why it is very, very small? Because a thin channel gets induced, gets enhanced between drain to source by that Vt equals to 0.9 as per this practical, right? As the channel induced is very thin, the current flowing through that thin channel, it is also very, very small, and that was 0.05 milliampere only, right? Then by increasing that input voltage from 0.9 to 1 volt, that is by 0.1 volt step size, the increase in current, it is from 0.05 milli to directly 0.67 milliamperes. Am I right? And the next readings are with you. So looking towards that second column and that readings, you will observe whenever you will go on to increase that input voltage on x-axis with a constant step size of 0.1 volt, the increase in current is not linear, right? That increase in current, it is exponential. Am I right? So whatever plot during our previous lecture we plotted, it is same as that of whatever the practical we done. Are you agree with this now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, before going towards the next topic, my question is, instead of connecting this input voltage source with the shown polarity, if I reverse it, now see, if your previous that construction diagram or working and all that, the things we conducted during our previous lecture, if it is available in front of you, just imagine that applied VGG gets reversed. That means if I connected negative terminal to the gate and positive towards the common line or towards the source, that means applied VGS if it is negative. Are you getting? Applied VGS is now suppose negative. According to you, what will happen? A negative potential, negative field will be applied to the gate terminal, and how that channel is, we are forming that channel between drain to source by applying positive field to the gate, minorities gets attracted and gets accumulated at the edge of SiO2 between that drain to source, and as the minority charge carriers are negative, the formed channel is, we are calling it as an N-type channel, right? Which is responsible to conduct the current from drain to source or to that device. And the same things we observed practically also, right? Okay. Now the question is, instead of applying positive field to the gate or VGS as positive, if I apply that VGS as negative, what will happen? that minorities will get attracted at the SiO2 by negative field to the gate? No. Am I right? Why that minorities are get attracted? Because of positive potential applied to the gate terminal. And there is attraction between positive and negative. That's why negative, that is minorities, gets attracted due to the positive potential. So the same thing, just we will cross verify here. See, I will just going on to apply a negative potential instead of positive to the gate with respect to source or that common line. Okay, and it is of 1.5 volt. See what is happening. Previously, when that input voltage VGS was 1.5 volt positive, at that time the conduction of this device was maximum. Am I right? But if applied VGS is negative, that means negative to the gate terminal and positive to the source, as already I told, that channel will not going on to form even if that VGS is sufficiently large, and that's why there will be no flow of current, and the same thing you are observing, that current remains 0 milliampere. Is it okay? So in this case, even if you change the values of this input voltage somewhat above 1.5, still that ID will going on to remain as 0. This device will not going on to conduct. Okay. So what is the conclusion? Our today's conclusion is what? For N channel FET or MOSFET, this E MOSFET, for N channel E MOSFET, the controlling voltage, that is VGS, input voltage, it should be positive or negative? It should be positive. Then and then conduction of this device will going on to take place. If by mistake the applied VGS is negative, this device will not going on to turn on. It will going on to remain in its off state or open state. Are you agree with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the conclusions are what? Note down that conclusions. VGS equals to VT, the conduction of device takes place, but very small amount of current flows to the device as the form channel, induced channel, enhanced channel between drain to source is very, very thin, and practically we observe it, that is of 0.05 milliampere only. Then, by increasing VGS with a constant step size, increasing output current is not constant or linear. It is non-linear, exponential. And that's why this device is known as a non-linear device, same as that of diode. This is the second conclusion. Okay. Then third conclusion, to have the conduction through this device, the applied VGS, it should be positive. If it is negative, device remains in off state. Agree? Then third conclusion, as the increase in current is exponential in nature, the resistance offered between drain to source of this device, it is also dynamic in nature. In case of diode, I shown it by small RD. If you can recall my that previous lecture, similarly, the resistance offered by this device also, that is MOSFET, N-channel E MOSFET, between drain to source, it is also dynamic in nature. And as the resistance is dynamic in nature, the obtained voltage drop across drain to source of this device, that is also not linear. Initially, you observe when this device is in off state, voltage across this device is equals to applied voltage, that is of 10 volt or equals to VDD, right? Whenever conduction takes place, that is at VGS equals to VT, that is at 0.9 volts, practically we observed it, the voltage across that transistor, it is not equals to output voltage, but it is closer to output voltage, that is VDD, as the conduction is very, very small. That means the device is offering very high resistance. And after that, the variation in current, as it is exponential in nature, the drop gets decreased with sufficient low values and towards almost equals to 0 volts. We observe that voltage drop minimum, it was just 0.2 volt. That means VDS, it changes from 10 to 0.2 only. Is it clear? So if you have any doubt or it not getting what is happening exactly with this device in channel E MOSFET, how it is working or how it offers the transfer characteristic, you just ask me. Otherwise, we will switch towards the next topic. So is it okay? Shall I switch towards the next topic? Again, nobody is responding. Shall I switch or shall I again explain? Let me see if you have any doubt. I think there is no doubt. Okay. So the next topic is various characteristic of devices that you already learned during your first year. You might have plotted 3 different characteristics for BJT, bipolar junction transistor. Which was those characteristics? One was input characteristic, then second was output characteristic, and third was transfer characteristic. That is for BJT. Huh? Have you learned these 3 characteristics for BJT? Input characteristic, output characteristic, and transfer characteristic. It was there, according to me. Was it there?
Yes, sir.
Just respond now, fastly. Okay. So see, suppose, or again, what is mean by input characteristic in general? That may be for BJT or that may be for FET devices or FET family. What is mean by input characteristic? Simply remember, input characteristic is the characteristic in between input voltage and input current by keeping output voltage constant. If possible, you can write it. Input characteristic, it is the characteristic in between input voltage and input current by keeping output voltage constant in general. Okay. This definition is in general definition that is applicable to all devices. Similarly, output characteristic, second one. Output characteristic is the characteristic in between output voltage and output current by keeping input constant. Right? Output characteristic means what? The characteristic in between output voltage and output current by keeping input constant. Now, what input constant that will define later on? Input either voltage constant or input as current constant. Right? If it is BJT, then during this study, you might have learned BJT it is a current controlling device. Input current, it controls the output current. Right? So for BJT, if you have to define the output characteristic, it is the characteristic in between output voltage and output current by keeping input current constant for BJT. If it is FET, or particularly this MOSFET, then how you will define the output characteristic? The output characteristic of MOSFET will be the characteristic in between output voltage and output current by keeping input dash 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 constant. What will keep input constant?
Voltage.
Yes, very nice. Why not current? Because for FET family, input current always remains 0. Right now? Now by keeping input voltage constant for FET family. Right? And that's why FET is known as voltage control device. Input voltage controls the output current. Right? That's why FET or MOSFET or JFET is known as voltage control devices, while BJT as input current controls the output current. BJT is known as current control device. Remember this difference between BJT and FET. Okay. Then third characteristic, that is transfer characteristic. Already during my previous lecture, I explained what is meant by transfer. Transfer characteristic, it is the characteristic, again in general, transfer characteristic is the characteristic in between controlling and controlled parameters of that device. Is it clear? Transfer characteristic is the characteristic in between controlling and controlled parameter. Now, for BJT, what is the controlling parameter? For BJT, what is the controlling parameter? Input current, right? And controlled parameter is what? That is output current. And that's why we are calling BJT as a current controlling. Now for FET or this MOSFET, what is the controlling parameter? Controlling one is what? Input voltage. And controlled parameter is what? Output current. Okay. So the transfer characteristic for MOSFET, that is in between input voltage and output current by keeping output voltage constant. That is applicable to both devices. That is BJT as well as FET. Right? You have to keep constant what? Output voltage and plot the characteristic in between input voltage and output current. I'll just check by varying input voltage what happens with the output current by keeping output voltage constant, and the same thing we done today. Is it? What we done? We done that output voltage, we kept it as a constant, that is 10 volt. We change input voltage, that is VGS, from 0 to 1.5, and what we observe? We observe the change in output current. Is it clear now? Are you getting what is that three different characteristic in general? Input characteristic, output characteristic, and transfer characteristic. So out of that three, we discuss about transfer characteristic. Right. Now we'll look towards input characteristic. Will it be possible for FET or MOSFET? Input characteristic. As per the definition, what is input characteristic? General definition. It is the characteristic in between input voltage and input current by keeping output voltage constant. Right. So even if we kept this output voltage as a constant, that is VDD, if you try to change the input voltage and if you try to measure the variation in input current, again, just a minute, I will try to show you. Suppose I connected one current meter in series with this gate terminal, which is in milliamperes, right? And if I run it, what is happening? See, there is non-zero output current by applying input sufficiently large. Or here we will apply, suppose 1.2 volts. Already you noted all these readings. Input as 1.2 volt, right? Now we have to think about the input characteristic. That means the characteristic plotted in between this input voltage and input current. So see, what is happening with input current? It remains zero. Yes or no? Are you getting it? Can you observe my screen properly? Whatever I am showing.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So see, this input is nothing but 1.2 volt, that is VGS. How much is the input current? It is 0. Instead of this 1.2, if I applied it to 1.5, or whatever may be the value, you will observe that input current, it remains 0. Why it is remaining 0? Because for FET, as there is insulating material, MOSFET, that is SiO2, there is no flow of input current, and that's why generally what we are seeing that Ig equals to 0. Now the question is, can we plot the input characteristic for MOSFET?
No, sir.
No, because by varying input voltage, that input current always remains 0, and that's why one thing most important that you have to remember, for FET family, input characteristic is not possible. So there are only two characteristics. One is transfer characteristic, which already we discussed, we plotted practically also, and another one will be the output characteristic, right? So that output characteristic we will discuss in the next lecture, but at this stage you have to remember what is the output characteristic. The output characteristic is the characteristic in between output voltage and output current by keeping input voltage constant for MOSFET. So we will keep that input voltage at somewhat constant level, and by varying output voltage, we will want to note down is there any change in output current or not. And the same thing we will plot, or I will try to show it graphically, and then I think you will be very clear about the characteristics of